Elena Mircea was 23 years old when she disappeared. According to university records, she was a geology student at the University of Cluj-Napoca, known among her professors for her meticulous field notes and exceptional understanding of Carpathian formations. On June 17, 2019, Mircea departed for a 3-day solo research expedition in the Rodna Mountains, the northernmost group in the Eastern Carpathians. The purpose of her trip, as documented in her research proposal filed with the Department of Geology, was to collect soil samples from higher elevations for her master's thesis on glacial sedimentation patterns. The last confirmed contact with Elena Mircea occurred at 14 1537 in Torrenterren, Theven on June 17, when she sent a text message to her research advisor, Dr. Vasile Popescu. The message, preserved in telecommunications records, read, "Reached base camp at 1780-meter elevation, weather clear. Will begin sample collection at Northwest Ridge tomorrow morning." Cell tower data confirmed the message originated from the vicinity of Inu Peak. According to the subsequent police report, Mircea was equipped with standard high-altitude gear, including a satellite phone, GPS device, emergency beacon, and supplies sufficient for 5 days in remote terrain. Elena Mircea was reported missing on June 21, 2019 at 8:08:14, when she failed to return to Cluj-Napoca and did not respond to calls or messages. Her absence was first noted by her roommate, Cosmina Dragomir, who contacted Dr. Popescu after Mircea missed their scheduled morning coffee meeting. Dr. Popescu attempted to reach Mircea via satellite phone at 0903, 0947, and 1022, all without success. At 10:45, he contacted the Mountain Rescue Service, Salvamont, of Maramuresh County. The initial search operation was launched at 12:30 on June 21st, with 4 rescue teams deployed to the area around Inu Peak, where Mircea had established her base camp. Weather conditions were favorable during the first day of the search, with clear visibility and temperatures of 18 degrees Celsius at the elevation in question. Helicopter surveillance was employed on June 22nd, covering 78 square kilometers of mountainous terrain. According to Salvamont records, 23 rescue personnel, 4 tracking dogs, and 2 helicopters participated in the search, which expanded to cover all potential routes Mircea might have taken from her last known location. On June 24th, search teams located Mircea's base camp at coordinates 40-7-35-12-3 and N 24-52-19-7E. The tent was found intact, with her sleeping bag, cooking equipment, and clothing inside. Her field notebook was discovered on a small, collapsible table, with entries ending on the evening of June 17th. The final entry read, "Site preparations complete. Strange lights visible on the northern ridge, too distant to determine if hikers or natural phenomenon. Will investigate if observed again tomorrow." There were no signs of struggle or wildlife disturbance. Mircea's satellite phone was found inside the tent with battery depleted. Her backpack containing sampling equipment was missing, suggesting she had departed for field work but never returned. The search continued until July 9, 2019, with diminishing resources as the likelihood of finding Mircea alive decreased. In total, the operation covered 143 square kilometers, employing thermal imaging, drone surveillance, and extensive ground teams. No further traces of Elena Mircea were discovered. On July 12, 2019, the Maramuresh County Police reclassified the case from a rescue operation to a missing person investigation. The case file, reference number 2019 MM2734, remained open but inactive after initial leads were exhausted. According to Dr. Popescu's statement to investigators, Elena Mircea was an experienced mountaineer who had conducted solo research in the Carpathians on 7 previous occasions. She held advanced wilderness survival certification from the Romanian Alpine Club and had completed the National Mountain Guide training program. Elena understood mountain safety protocols better than most professionals, Dr. Popescu stated in his July 15th interview with investigators. She was not someone who would take unnecessary risks or deviate from her planned route without communication. Between July 2019 and April 2024, the Elena Mircea case received periodic reviews as mandated by Romanian National Police procedure for unresolved missing persons cases. 3 potential sightings were reported but dismissed after investigation. The most significant occurred in September 2021 when a tourist photographed a woman resembling Mircea at a hostel in Brașov, but facial recognition analysis determined it was not her. The case file accumulated dust in the archives of the Maramureș County Police Headquarters, one of 17 unsolved disappearances in the Northern Carpathians during the decade. On May 2, 2024, at approximately 06:15, shepherd Mihai Grigore was moving his flock through the high pastures 7.4 kilometers northwest of where Mircea's camp had been discovered 5 years earlier. According to his statement, Grigore noticed a figure sitting motionless beneath an old Orthodox cross that marked a mountain trail junction. The cross, standing approximately 2.1 meters tall and made of weathered oak, had been erected in 1953 according to local records. It stood at an elevation of 1,964 meters, marking the boundary between 2 mountain communes. I thought at first it was another shepherd resting, Grigore stated in his initial interview with local police. But as I got closer, I saw it was a woman sitting very still. With her back against the cross, she was looking straight ahead, not moving even when my dogs approached her. Her clothes were tattered, but not as damaged as they should be after years in the mountains. That's when I knew something was wrong. Grigore approached to within 3 meters of the woman and called out to her. Receiving no response, he moved closer and recognized signs of death. According to his testimony, the woman's skin had a gray, waxy appearance, and her eyes were open but clouded over. Despite the remote location, Grigore had cell phone reception and called emergency services at 06:43. The first responders, a mountain rescue team from the nearest outpost, arrived at 08:51. The responding medical officer, Dr. Andrei Constantinescu, confirmed death at the scene and estimated, based on initial examination, that the woman had been deceased for approximately 72 to 96 hours. The body was photographed in situ, then transported to the medical examiner's office in Baia Mare. Personal effects found with the body included a weathered identification card in a plastic case attached to a lanyard around the neck. Though damaged by exposure, the card was legible enough to identify the deceased as Elena Mircea. The discovery triggered the reopening of case file 2019 MM2734. Detective Inspector Claudiu Ionescu of the Maramureș County Police was assigned as lead investigator. The case was designated a high-priority cold case revival due to the unusual circumstances of the discovery. A forensic team was dispatched to the site on May 3, 2024, to conduct a thorough examination of the area surrounding the cross. The autopsy was performed on May 3 by Chief Medical Examiner Dr. Luminița Vasilescu. According to the preliminary report, the body exhibited several anomalous characteristics. Despite being exposed to mountain conditions, the remains showed less decomposition than expected for the estimated time since death. The body was positioned in a seated posture, legs extended forward, back straight against the cross base, hands folded in the lap. Rigor mortis had long since passed, yet the body maintained this position. Dr. Vasilescu noted in her report, subject appears to have died from hypothermia, with secondary contributory factors of malnutrition and exposure. However, the condition of the remains is inconsistent with 5 years in an alpine environment. Soft tissue preservation exceeds expected parameters by a significant margin. Clothing shows weathering consistent with long-term exposure, but the body itself presents as if deceased for months rather than years. Dental records confirmed the identity as Elena Mircea beyond any doubt. A detailed examination of the clothing revealed her university identification card in a breast pocket, along with a folded paper containing coordinates written in what handwriting experts later confirmed was Mircea's own notation. The coordinates corresponded to a location 3.2 kilometers east of where her body was discovered. On May 5, 2024, Detective Inspector Ionescu led a team to the coordinates found in Mircea's pocket. The location was a small clearing in a dense pine forest at 1,823 meters elevation. Upon arrival, investigators discovered a shallow cave entrance, partially concealed by vegetation. The cave extended approximately 12 meters into the mountainside, maintaining a width of 1.7 meters and a height sufficient for an adult to stand upright. Inside the cave, the forensic team documented several items. A backpack identified as matching the one missing from Mircea's camp, containing soil sampling equipment, a digital camera with a depleted battery, a field journal different from the one found at her campsite, and a collection of strange objects arranged in what appeared to be a deliberate pattern on a natural stone shelf in the deepest part of the cave. These objects included 7 small stones arranged in a circle, 3 animal bones later identified as belonging to a fox, several dried flowers preserved remarkably well, and a carved wooden figure approximately 20 centimeters in height, depicting a humanoid shape with exaggerated limbs and an elongated head. According to the forensic anthropologist who examined it, Dr. Mihaela Antonescu, the carving exhibited characteristics inconsistent with Romanian folk art traditions or known Carpathian woodcraft. The field journal contained entries dated from June 18 to June 30, 2019, well beyond the last day anyone had contact with Mircea. The handwriting matched samples of Mircea's writing from university records. The entries began with normal field observations but grew increasingly disjointed and unusual in later pages. The final entry, dated June 30th, read, "They are allowing me to record this. The lights were not on the ridge but from above. They have shown me what waits in the thin spaces between mountains. I understand now why certain rocks resonate and why the compass fails in the high places. Tomorrow I begin the watching at the cross." The digital camera was sent to the National Forensics Laboratory in Bucharest, where technicians were able to recover 27 images from its memory. 23 showed normal geological features and landscape photographs consistent with scientific documentation. The final 4 images, taken on the evening of June 18th according to the metadata, showed a series of lights in the night sky above a mountain ridge. The final image appeared blurred, but showed what analysts described as a cylindrical object with unusual luminosity, partially obscured by clouds. On May 8, 2024, the forensic examination of the site where Mircea's body was discovered yielded additional evidence. In the soil directly beneath where she had been sitting, technicians found a small metal object approximately 2.3 centimeters in length. The object was cylindrical, with multiple fine protrusions along one end. Material analysis conducted at the National Physics Laboratory in Cluj-Napoca determined the object was composed of an alloy containing titanium, vanadium, and 3 other elements that initially defied identification using standard methods. Dr. Vasilescu's complete autopsy findings, released on May 12th, documented several unexplained anomalies. A small scar was found behind Mircea's left ear, approximately 1.8 centimeters in length, with no record of such a mark in her medical history. X-ray examination revealed a hairline fracture in her right ulna that showed signs of healing, suggesting it occurred within months of her death. Most notably, the autopsy found traces of an unidentified compound in tissue samples from her brainstem and spinal fluid. The substance appears to have properties similar to certain neurotransmitters, Dr. Vasilescu noted, but with a molecular structure unlike any known pharmaceutical compound in our databases. The concentration suggests ongoing exposure rather than a single dosage event. Toxicology tests also revealed the presence of several plant-based compounds associated with native Carpathian flora known to have mild psychoactive properties. However, the concentration was below the threshold typically associated with significant cognitive effects. On May 15, 2024, Detective Inspector Ionescu interviewed 3 locals from the nearest village who were familiar with the area where Mircea was found. One account proved particularly relevant. Maria Preda, 78, had lived in the region her entire life and recalled folk traditions associated with the cross where Mircea was discovered. "That place has always been special," Preda stated in her recorded interview. "The old people said it marks a spot where the veil is thin. My grandfather told me never to stay there after dark, especially during the solstice. He said sometimes people heard voices there that sounded like loved ones calling them into the forests. Some followed and were never seen again. Others said they saw lights moving in patterns no human could make." When pressed for clarification, Preda explained that local folklore held that certain mountain crosses marked locations where supernatural entities could cross into the human world. These beliefs predated Christianity in the region and were incorporated into later religious practices. According to Preda, the cross where Mircea was found was erected specifically to guard a doorway and was blessed annually until the practice stopped in the 1970s. The investigation took an unexpected turn on May 18, 2024, when analysis of Mircea's recovered field journal revealed several pages had been treated with a chemical that made writing visible only under ultraviolet light. When examined under appropriate conditions, these pages contained drawings of circular symbols and text in what appeared to be a substitution cipher. Cryptographers from the National Security Directorate were consulted and determined the cipher was actually a phonetic transcription of Romanian words using Greek letters and mathematical symbols. The decoded text described a repeating sequence of lights Mircea had observed over 3 consecutive nights, followed by what she termed an encounter on June 21st. The decoded passage read, "They came as the old woman in the valley said they would. I followed the protocol exactly. The crossing is not physical in the way we understand it. They exist in the fold between frequencies. They have always been here, watching from the thin places. They say I am suitable for extended observation. I have agreed to the terms. The adjustment behind my ear was painless. I understand that when the observation concludes, I must return to the cross to complete the symmetry." On May 22, 2024, investigators interviewed Dr. Vasile Popescu again, specifically questioning him about any unusual interests Mircea might have had beyond her geological studies. Dr. Popescu revealed that Mircea had been collecting local folklore about the Carpathian Mountains for what she described as a side project, unrelated to her thesis. Elena became interested in stories about strange phenomena in the mountains during her second year, Dr. Popescu stated. She was particularly focused on locations where multiple accounts of unexplained lights or disappearances had been reported over centuries. "I assumed it was just curiosity, but she began mapping these locations and found they corresponded to certain geological formations. She called them thin places and theorized that they might relate to electromagnetic anomalies in the mountain rock." Investigators obtained Mircea's personal computer from her family home, where it had remained since her disappearance. Analysis of the hard drive revealed an encrypted folder that, once accessed, contained extensive research on what Mircea termed Carpathian anomaly zones. She had created a detailed map marking 27 locations throughout the mountain range where unusual phenomena had been reported, cross-referenced with geological survey data showing magnetic anomalies. One document titled Contact Protocols outlined specific actions to be taken when transition entities were encountered. These included arrangements of stones in circular patterns, the recitation of specific phrases in an old Romanian dialect, and the leaving of offerings. The document concluded with the statement, "Symmetry must be maintained. The observer becomes the observed. The cycle completes at the watching place." On May 25, 2024, the investigation team conducted interviews with members of the Romanian Alpine Club who had known Mircea. Christian Radu, who had participated in 3 expeditions with her in 2018, provided significant information. Elena became obsessed with a story she heard from an old shepherd, Radu stated. Something about people who went missing in the mountains, but returned years later with no memory of where they'd been. She started asking everyone about mountain crosses and what they marked. The last time I saw her, about a month before she disappeared, she showed me a map with circles drawn around certain mountain peaks. She said they formed a pattern that only made sense from above. I thought she was working too hard on her thesis, seeing patterns that weren't there. Further investigation revealed that in the months before her disappearance, Mircea had ordered several specialized scientific instruments not typically used in geological research. These included an electromagnetic field detector, a high-frequency audio recorder, and an ultraviolet imaging system. According to university purchase records, these items were not part of her approved research equipment list and had been acquired with personal funds. On May 27, 2024, the National Physics Laboratory completed their analysis of the metal object found beneath the cross. Dr. Mihai Dumitrescu, lead researcher on the analysis, provided a detailed report stating that the unknown elements in the alloy had been identified through advanced spectrometry. His report indicated these elements possessed atomic weights and properties that placed them outside the known periodic table. While contamination or analytical error cannot be completely ruled out, Dr. Dumitrescu wrote, repeated testing produces consistent results. If these findings are accurate, the object contains elemental material not currently known to terrestrial science. The object's function remained undetermined, though microscopic examination revealed intricate internal structures suggesting it was a manufactured component rather than a naturally occurring formation. When placed near sensitive electromagnetic equipment, technicians noted unexpected interference patterns that defied conventional explanation. On May 30, 2024, the investigation took another significant turn when a hiker reported finding a backpack in a remote area approximately 5 kilometers from where Mircea's body had been discovered. The backpack contained a journal with the name Andrei Novak written inside the cover. Records confirmed that Andrei Novak, a 28-year-old wildlife photographer, had disappeared in the same mountain range in June 2014, exactly 5 years before Mircea. The journal's final entry, dated June 30, 2014, described Novak's encounter with moving lights that led him to a cave. The description of the cave matched the one found at the coordinates from Mircea's pocket. Novak's remains have never been found, and his case, reference number 2014 MM1953, remains open in Maramuresh County Police records. Detective Inspector Ionescu requested permission to expand the investigation to include reviewing other disappearances in the region over the past 30 years. The analysis revealed a pattern. Between 1989 and 2024, 7 people had disappeared in the same general area under similar circumstances. All were alone when they vanished. All disappearances occurred within the same 2-week period in late June at 5-year intervals. Prior to Mircea, none of the missing persons had ever been found. On June 3, 2024, forensic analysis of soil samples taken from the cave and from beneath the cross, where Mircea was found, yielded unexpected results. Both samples contained traces of the same unidentified compound found in Mircea's tissue samples. Dr. Luminița Vasilescu collaborated with botanists from the University of Cluj-Napoca to determine if the compound could have a natural origin, but no known plant or fungal species in the Carpathian ecosystem produces similar biochemistry. The compound appears to have properties that would affect human neurotransmitter function, Dr. Vasilescu stated in her supplementary report. Specifically, it would impact perception of time and spatial awareness. In sufficient concentration, it could induce a state where hours might be perceived as minutes, or conversely, where a brief period might be experienced as much longer. On June 7, 2024, investigators made a breakthrough while reviewing satellite imagery of the region. Images from June 18, 2019 showed no unusual features. However, when examining historical imagery from the same dates in 2014, 2009, 2004, and 1999, analysts identified an anomalous light signature in the exact area where Mircea disappeared. The signature appeared in nighttime infrared imaging as a perfect circle approximately 30 meters in diameter, visible for only one night during each 5-year interval. Romanian Defense Ministry records, obtained through special request, revealed that military radar had detected unidentified aerial phenomena in the same region during these periods. The phenomena were classified as atmospheric anomalies of undetermined origin and were noted for their precise movements and ability to appear and disappear from radar detection instantaneously. On June 12, 2024, a specialized team returned to the cave site with ground-penetrating radar equipment. Their survey revealed a previously undetected chamber approximately 15 meters beyond the apparent end of the cave, separated by what appeared to be a solid rock wall. Using industrial drilling equipment, the team created an access point to this hidden chamber on June 15th. The chamber, measuring 7.3 meters in diameter with a domed ceiling, contained evidence of human presence. 7 stone seats were arranged in a circle around a central raised platform. The walls were covered with engraved symbols matching those found in Mircea's encrypted journal notes. Carbon dating of organic material found in the chamber indicated human activity spanning from approximately 900 years ago to as recently as 5 years prior. Most significantly, the team discovered a metal fragment embedded in the central platform that matched exactly the composition of the object found beneath the cross where Mircea was discovered. When the two pieces were brought into proximity, witnesses reported they exhibited strong magnetic attraction to each other and, once connected, could not be separated by normal means. On June 18, 2024, exactly 5 years after Elena Mircea vanished, Detective Inspector Ionescu established a surveillance perimeter around both the cross site and the cave entrance. At precisely 23:17, monitoring equipment detected electromagnetic fluctuations, far exceeding background levels. 3 officers stationed at the cave entrance reported seeing lights moving in the forest, though no sources could be identified. The phenomenon lasted until 23:42, after which all readings returned to normal. The investigation culminated on June 30, 2024, with the release of an official report classifying Elena Mircea's case as death by misadventure with unexplained elements. The report acknowledged the numerous anomalies documented throughout the investigation, but stopped short of endorsing any specific explanation for the 5-year gap between Mircea's disappearance and the discovery of her body. In the report's conclusion, Detective Inspector Ionescu wrote, "While conventional investigation methods have exhausted all available evidence, this case presents elements that defy standard explanation. The consistency of 5-year intervals in disappearances, the unusual preservation of remains, the unidentified compounds and materials, and the documented electromagnetic anomalies all suggest phenomena beyond current scientific understanding. It is the recommendation of this investigator that the area in question be designated a restricted zone pending further scientific study." Following the official closure of the case, Elena Mircea's remains were released to her family. She was buried in her hometown cemetery on July 7, 2024. At the family's request, the wooden figure found in the cave was placed in her casket. According to her mother's statement to local media, Elena found something in those mountains that she was seeking. "Whatever happened to her, I believe she found her answers. We may never know what they were." 1 month after the conclusion of the investigation, Dr. Vasile Popescu submitted his resignation from the University of Cluj-Napoca. His current whereabouts are unknown. The cave entrance was sealed by government authorities, and the area surrounding the cross where Murcha was found, has been designated a restricted research zone under the jurisdiction of the Romanian Academy of Sciences. The cross itself was removed for examination and replaced with a modern monument. Laboratory analysis revealed that the original cross, despite its weathered appearance, had been carved from wood dated to approximately 1200 CE, much older than historical records had indicated. Microscopic examination of its surface revealed traces of the same unidentified compound found in the soil and in Mircha's tissues. In a final unexplained development, satellite monitoring of the area on the night of July 18, 2024, detected the now familiar circular light signature appearing 2 years ahead of the established 5-year cycle. As of this report, no new disappearances have been reported in the region. The Elena Murcha case remains officially closed, but continues to generate significant interest among scientific researchers studying unexplained phenomena. The mountain cross, the cave, and the mysterious 5-year cycle have become subjects of intensive study by multiple disciplines, seeking to understand what happened to a young woman who vanished in the Carpathian Mountains and was found 5 years later, sitting beneath a cross, bearing witness to something beyond current human understanding.